In this video, we're going to take a look at exam revision for fractions of an amount. So what we're going to do here is just take a look at some exam style questions for fractions of an amount. As always, pause the video, have a go at the questions as they appear, and double check that your solution matches what we get on the screen. That's everything that we need here to begin with, so let's get started with question 1. So for question 1 here, we're asked to find 1/3 of 90. So let me just write that down to begin with. So 1/3 of 90 here. So for 1/3 of 90, what we're going to do here, we're going to take 90, we're going to split that into 3 equal parts here, because the denominator here is 3, and then we want one of those 3 parts here. Remember, the numerator tells you how many of those parts you need, we only need one part here. So to begin with, let's split 90 up into 3 equal parts, and to do that here, we're going to take 90 and divide it by 3. So 90 divided by 3 here. Well, how many 3's go into 90? Well, in this case here, this would be 30. And if it helps here, think about this as just doing 9 divided by 3, which would be 3. If you've got 9 divided by 3, that would be 30. So 9 divided by 3 is equal to 30 there. What that tells us then is one individual block here, or each individual block, is equal to 30. And I quickly draw a diagram here just to kind of visualize this problem. We'll get something that looks like this. Putting this up into 3 parts here, where each individual block, like we said, is equal to 30. Okay. Now, like we said, we only need one of these blocks here because our numerator is 1. If the numerator was 2, we'd choose 2 of these blocks. Obviously, if it was 3, we'd have all 3 blocks, but that would give us 3/3, which would just be 1 whole of 90. Okay. So if I just shade it in here in a different color, we want one of these blocks. Obviously, it doesn't matter which of the 3 blocks we choose, but I just usually work from left to right. I choose the first block here, and we want this 30 for 1/3 of 90. Going back to the original pen colour here then, 1/3 of 90 would be equal to 30 there. Okay, and there we have it. So that's our solution there to question 1. Moving on to question 2 now, where we're asked to find 2/3 of 33. What we need to do here is split 33 up into 3 parts because the denominator here is 3, and then we want to choose 2 of those parts here because the numerator here is 2. So in that case then, if we do 33 divided by 3, that would split 33 up into 3 parts. So 33 divided by 3, and this would give us 11 here. We get 11 there. What that tells us then is each individual part here is worth 11. So we just draw a quick diagram here. Something like this, doesn't have to be perfect. And I split 33 up into 3 parts here, so 3 blocks, and each individual block is worth 11. And we want 2 of those blocks, so on this block here, and this block here. Remember, each of these blocks here are worth 11. This one's 11, this one's 11, and this one's also 11. We want these 2 here. So in that case then, 2/3 of 33 would be 11 plus 11, which would be equal to 22 there. Okay, and there we have it. So that's the solution there to question 2. We take a look now at question 3 here. We're asked to find 3/4 of 140. So what we want to do here is split 140 into 4 parts, and then we want to choose 3 of those parts here because our numerator is 3. So if we're splitting 140 into 4 parts here, what we're going to do is we're going to take 140 and divide that by 4. So 140 divided by 4. So we can simplify this fraction here. We could write this as 70/2. And basically 70/2, that's just the same as half in 70, which would give us 35 there. What that tells us here then is one individual block is worth 35. Okay, so if we've got 4 blocks, each block is worth 35. Let's just draw a diagram up here. Again, like always, these diagrams are never perfect, but just to give us an idea of what we're looking at here. We'll get something that looks like this here. So each individual block here is worth 35. So 35, 35, 35, and then finally 35 here. So now we want 3 of these blocks here because the numerator here is 3. That tells us how many blocks we want from the total here. We want this block here, this block here, and this block here. We want this 35 here, this 35, and this 35. So now, if we add all that together then, 3/4 of 140 here, that's going to be equal to 35 plus 35 plus 35. Or you can spot that this would obviously be multiplication as well. This would be 35 times 3. Either way, it doesn't matter. If we just do addition here, 35 plus 35 plus 35. So now if we add those together here, 35 plus 35 is 70, plus another 35, that would give us 105 there. Okay. And there we have it. So 3/4 of 140 would give us 105, giving us the solution to question 3. If we take a look now at question 4 here, we have a box that contains 120 sheets. If Rob takes 3/4 of the sheets from the box, how many are left in the box? What we're looking for here is 3/4 of 120, because in total here in the box there's 120 sheets. So 3/4 of 120. So 3/4 of 120. So to begin with here, what we need to do is split 120 into 4 equal parts. So to do that here, I'm going to take 120 and divide it by 4. Do 120 divided by 4. What I can do here is write this in an equivalent fraction. So simplify this fraction here. We can write this as 60 over 2, like so. And now we just think about what's half of 60 here. That would give us 30. That's equal to 30, right? So what that's telling us here is one individual block is equal to 30 sheets. Okay. So I just draw my diagram here. In fact, let's do it underneath actually. We'll split this into 4 blocks now. Again, my diagram is never perfect, but it'll look something like this, say. And each individual block here is equal to 30. So 30, 30, 30, and then finally 30 again. And like we said, we want 3 of these 4 blocks here because the numerator here is 3. So now we shade the 3 blocks that we want here. The first one there, second one here, and then finally the third one here. Okay. So in that case then, 3/4 of 120 would be this 30 here, and this 30 here. So 30 plus 30 plus 30. So 30 plus 30 plus 30, which would give us 90. So 3/4 of 120 is equal to 90. So we need to be slightly careful here. This isn't the answer here, because if you read the question carefully, it says that Rob takes 3/4 of the sheets from the box. How many are left in the box? So that's important. How many are left in the box? So Rob takes 3/4 of the sheets from the box. So Rob takes 90 from the box here. In other words, what we've got left then is this one remaining block here. Okay, Rob's took these 3 here, these 3 blocks. So 30, 30, 30. But Rob's took 90 sheets out of the box. In that case, then we've got 30 left. The way that you could think about this here is if we had 120 in total, 120 sheets here in total, and then Rob's took 90 out, we've got 120 minus 90 there, giving us 30. Okay, but therefore we've got 30 sheets left. Okay, and there we have it. So that's the solution there to question 4. And finally then, if we take a look here at the very last question, question 5, we're told that there's 20 blocks of chocolate in a full bar. If Sally eats 1/4 of the bar, how many blocks are remaining? So what we're looking for here is 1/4 of 20. We need 1/4 of 20. What I'm going to do here is split 20 up into 4 parts, and then we just want one of those 4 parts here. So what we're going to do here is take 20 and divide that by 4. And 20 divided by 4 here, well, that would give us 5. So if we just think about this now by drawing our diagram here, I'm going to get 4 parts like this. So let's just draw our diagram. And what we know here then is each individual bar or block here is equal to 5. Okay, so that's 5. That's 5 here. Same again here. And then finally here. Now we only want one of these 4 blocks here, so let's just shade that in red. We just want this one here. Okay, so we just want this 5 here. So Sally eats 5 of the 20 blocks here. Okay. Now again, we just need to be slightly careful with the question here. The question's asking how many blocks are remaining rather than how many has Sally eaten. Okay. So how many are remaining? The remaining here, well, that would be the total number of blocks. That would be 20. Minus the amount that Sally's eaten, which is 5. So 20 minus 5, giving us 15 there. Okay. So in that case, then there's 15 blocks of chocolate remaining. 15 blocks of chocolate. Okay. And there we have it. So that's the solution there to the very last question. Question 5. That brings the end of this video on exam revision for fractions of an amount. In the next video, we're going to take a look at an introduction to collecting like terms.